Hello, everyone. This is Carolyn Cooper from SimplyAlign, continuing with our SimplyAlign Certified Practitioner Spotlights. This has been so fun to interview all these amazing women. Today, I have with me Laila Kammerman, and I'm just going to turn the time to Laila and let her tell us a little bit about herself and how you got started on this SimplyAlign journey.
Awesome. Thank you, Carolyn. So I am a grandma now. A little fun
Hey.
tidbit about myself. My husband and I are empty nesters, and we live in Kansas. But before that, we resided in Idaho. And that's kind of where my journey with Simply Aligned began. A little bit about myself. So I enjoy fun and random in my life. That would include like volleyball, a little bit of martial arts. I love learning. You get me a question, I love to dig down and find the solution. So those are some of my nature things. I need to be able to have fun and also have peace and calm. So, that might be playing pool and having the thrill of actually beating my husband, who's very strategic and able to do that really well. Or it might be going on long walks or bicycle rides or four-wheeling. So what I'm saying is I love life and I love living life in a healthy way. And that is what brought me to find Simply Align. About 2009, during the recession, our family was also impacted by it. And I found myself spiraling down into anxiety, fear about the future. And we were doing some remodeling on our home because we felt that we were going to need to sell it just due to the economic situation. And as I was doing that, I was ruminating on allowing my thoughts to kind of run wild, which women kind of had a tendency to do. If something breaks, we go from A to Z at the end. And I was doing a lot of that spiral. And it ended up freezing my shoulder and having such damage to my shoulder that I couldn't raise my arm at all. And during some prayer, I was just really seeking an answer that wasn't going to be surgery or something so invasive. And that's what I started exploring and found a few modalities that talked about the effect of our thoughts and emotions. And I pursued and studied those. And then a friend mentioned that she had had a Simply Aligned session. And I thought, well, I felt this is for you to explore. So I also had a Simply Aligned session. And I felt amazing. My shoulder started to open up, and I had complete, with no surgery, no physical therapy, just getting those stuck emotions out. Uh, anyway, it just changed the trajectory of my life. And so, because I experienced so much healing in so many levels, was living more vibrantly again, enjoying being a mom of five, I was like, I've got to get trained in I need this for me, for my family, and there's other people. And I have been in the wellness industry for a long time. It's been 30 years now. And so I understood when people were having weight loss challenges that there was usually a lot of emotions and energetic stuff that kept things locked in for them. And so this was just an amazing experience to go to your Simply Align training. And that was in 2011. So it's been an awesome journey, helping a lot of people and feeling blessed every day to have it in my life.
Awesome. I love that. I don't know if I ever heard your shoulder story, or if I did years ago, I forgot it. Thank you for sharing that. That's
Yep.
amazing. So you have a really awesome niche. I know you work with everybody, but you have a specialty that like really comes from your heart. Can you tell us about that? Like who you love working with the most?
Yes, I love working with the wounded empath, and that's because I was one. I didn't know that. I didn't know those words, but I would get inflammation, I would get headaches, I would feel things, I didn't understand why. I get overwhelmed. I went to Black Friday at Walmart and was so disoriented from all the energy, but I didn't really know what was going on. I just knew that I was really affected by it. And so I started to explore what this might be, learn some, our principles, what we have in Simply Align, and but I really dug in deep to find out what is it that makes someone who is very sensitive get triggered and shut down and feel like they're taking on everybody's things. And there's a lot of different labels out there, whether that be, codependency, or there's just so much stuff, and a lot of anxiety, a lot of depression. A lot of people struggle with this, and it's something that I used to, but I don't anymore. And it's been a beautiful journey to be able to get centered in this way, get cleared this way, and discover really and feel like I'm Laila in my body, my spirit, united in doing good things and living a happy, rewarding life in the light.
Yeah. Nice. Nice. So what of all that, that sounds like that is the most rewarding part of you, like for you to feel like you're in a good place and be able to bring other people into that place too. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but do you have
Yep, no, you're right.
on that?
Yeah, that is a rewarding experience. My business is called Feel So Light Energy Alignment. So that is, that's how I felt after my first SimplyAlign session. And so I thought that is the perfect name for my business. So Feel So Light. And that's what people say when they have a session with me is, wow, I feel so light. I feel like 25 pounds have been lifted off. And yeah, you do. You feel more like your true self. And this is a beautiful tool to help people get into that space and to live in that more joyful space.
Yeah. That is what people always say, and that's a great name for your business. I feel so light. What do you wish more people knew about energy healing?
Well, first of all, you hear the word and it's like, what, right? That was how I kind of felt at the beginning. My first introduction to mind, spirit, body was really learning the power of healing that comes in forgiveness, forgiveness of others and forgiveness of ourselves. And that I understand more energy, that it's severing cords that are not for our highest good, and allowing ourselves to move forward, treasuring up the experience that we can give thanks in all things and the power of gratitude with that. Science is catching up, as we know. There's a lot of things that science is talking about, epigenetics being one of those, where we really do respond and feel our DNA. An example of that is my niece. This is when I first was learning. So it was in 2011. And my sister-in-law came over and she said, my daughter is just went into a phobia, just hysteric screaming when my husband was pulling something, dragging behind the lawnmower. And she's been around the lawnmower all the time. So what was new was the dragging. And she said she was just shaking, just absolute hysteria. She'd never seen that before. This is something new. She was only like 3 years old. So I checked on it and did some clearing, and it was something generational trauma in the 1800s, and that was strong in her DNA. And so we released that, and then the next time she was exposed to that, she was totally fine. No reaction, no response. So from that to, clearing the allergies. I used to be really sensitive to metals, couldn't wear any nickel. Now I can wear any jewelry that I want. It's just things that get stuck. And so it's exciting to know that we have the strengths of our ancestors in our being, and also some things that they didn't work out that is part of our journey to work out. And to be able to help people with that is wonderful.
Yeah, that's a great story. Yeah, and generational. I bet all us practitioners have so many, like, just sounding strange at first stories, and then you get to the punchline of, yeah, it was something generational in the DNA, and it's like, oh, that makes sense. Like, I think because we all have ancestors, so I think everybody has a place inside of them where they're like, oh yeah, that actually makes sense, because we can all think of things in our own life where triggered by something, and we're like, what is that? Yeah.
And there were generations that it was very, stoicism, or, you just stuff down those emotions and that trauma, and it just gets passed on down generations if you don't get to the resolution and be able to release that. So that's another thing I like to help people with, is those who've experienced childhood trauma, especially. That is an area of expertise that I have, and that often shows up in the wounded empath, and that they're very hypersensitive to everything, and it's usually either their trauma or ancestral trauma. And so when that can get released on an energetic level, wow, it's like they feel so light.
Nice. I like that. I like how you put that together. That's great. So, what would you say to somebody who's like, I might take that training. I don't know if I could do it. Should I take it? Like, what is your advice to somebody who coming in like you did? You just
Right.
jumped in and learned it, and
Yes, and I loved it because even after studying so many other modalities, this was clean, it was simple, there wasn't woo-woo, the science was there. It wasn't ego-centered. That's a big deal, to not make yourself the thing. I loved how you keep it very simple. So if you're feeling drawn to it, then that's something within your spirit, most likely, that you have a path to help others. And this is a beautiful tool. It works quickly, efficiently. I can't imagine how my life would be. I certainly wouldn't be doing this if I hadn't found, you know, it's just big blessing in my life. Yeah. So
ah,
I'd say get to the training. If you've been considering it, this is the time. There's so much need in this world right now, um, to help clear the chaos and help people become centered and heart-centered and clarity in their mind and be able to make an impact, an influence in their communities for the better. Yeah.
thank you. Thank you for all that. Yeah. So, what do you do to stay so grounded and such a shining light? What, like, what's your secret?
Well, honestly, daily devotional. I wake up in the morning and I do scripture study, I pray. I love the morning light, so I get outside and do a little Tai Chi and get grounded that way too. I find a lot of peace in nature. I do gardening for that reason. Um, there's something about allowing the sunshine to just rest on your soul and do praising. So those are some things I do every single day that keep me very centered. And if I find something, all of us have stuff that happens. I mean, that's God's plan, right? This is a journey we're going to learn. But if we look at it as an adventure, then when something that unexpected happens, we can pivot to the possibilities of how we're going to move forward on that. Um, and so just having the proper mindset is a big deal, and getting ourselves centered helps us have the proper mindset. Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, well said. Wise words.
Thank you.
So, Laila, how can people get a hold of you?
You can
Feel
reach
so
me,
light.
yes, reach me on my website, feelsolight.com. There's testimonials there of my clients. I invite you to read those. I have a couple little articles about, how you can move into stronger rays of sunshine in your life. I do have a Facebook page also, but probably the best way and the easiest way to navigate and set an appointment and get to know a Feel So Light energy alignment session would be through my website, feelsolight.com.
Great. Beautiful. All right. Ah, it was so much fun talking to you,
It
Laila.
was. I love this.
I always learn stuff when I talk to you. It's awesome. So thank you for joining us today. If you are interested in meeting Laila, feelsolight.com, and also she's on our certified practitioner directory at SimplyAlign.com. If you want to know more about the trainings to learn how to do this work and help our world, because we need it. You can go to simplyaligned.com/certify, and all the info is there. So thank you. And thanks, Laila.
Thanks. Bye-bye.